praise from your community. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Octavia Spencer, and no, I'm not in this movie, although I was going to come in here and lie and say I was like, warrior number 293. If you look real closely in the background, deep background, that was me. But I'm not a part of this movie. Although I have the great privilege of having a conversation with you guys, with these amazing filmmakers, three of the bright stars shining with this film. The brilliant director, Gina Prince-Bythewood, brilliant award-winning, and all these people on this panel are award-winning, I should say. The brilliant award-winning actress, Thuso Mbedu. Award-winning actress, lead actress of the film, and the film's producer, Viola Davis. Just getting right into it because I don't want to waste any of y'all's time, and I know y'all don't want to hear, you want to hear from these filmmakers. When Viola and I do our check-ins, I remember a few years ago you were telling me, Octavia, I have this project called Woman King, and when I know when Viola loves something, she says, it's excellent. It's excellent. And that was a while ago when you were telling me about this project, Viola. I know you probably told this story 100,000 times, but if you don't mind humoring me and telling it just one more time about why you responded to this project in the way that you did, and that the process of getting it to this point where everyone else can see it.
Well, there's not enough time to talk about the process. The process always takes years. It's hard getting a film made. I don't think people understand how difficult it is, especially if it's a predominantly black female-led cast. But Maria Bello, of all people, was presenting me with an award at the Skirball Center in 2015. And instead of presenting the award to me, she pitched the movie. And I was sitting there going, why is she doing that? And then she ended it with, wouldn't you want to see Viola in this movie? And everybody was cheering, and I was like, why are they cheering? It's never going to be made. And there's something heartbreaking about that, Sort of like managing one's dreams. You don't manage a dream. Dreams are not managed. You just dream big, loud, fierce. You die, you do whatever. But I was thinking it's never going to be made, and then 7 years of every incarnation you could possibly imagine. At first, Hannah Mingala was at Sony. She was in charge of it, and she left the bad robots. And then we were thinking, oh, it's never going to be done. Then Nicole Brown, who's a VP at Sony, who's also African-American, her and Tom Rothman, they looked at the film. I mean, it's just the budget, finding the actors, the director, everything was a fight. The hair was a fight. No makeup and being in dirt was a fight. So 7 years later, we found ourselves on the soils of Africa, and it goes to show you that, the thing about dreams and the thing about being on the periphery of this profession, all the people who usually don't get the golden goose. I mean, come on, we talk about it. Women, after you reach a certain age, people of color, but the big lesson was that we are in charge of our dreams.
Yes.
We're the orchestrators, we're the facilitators, and it's a testament to never stopping and giving up. Yeah.
Gina, I'm skipping you because I'm coming back, honey. I'm coming back. Talk to us about this beautifully diverse cast from all across the world. Talk to us about creating that ensemble, because you have a large voice in that, and I was just telling you in the lobby, I loved every aspect of these actors and how they gelled as a community. So please tell us about that process.
Foremost, thank you all for coming out on a Monday. Yeah, I mean, the moment I read the script, I was watching the film, and Viola was attached when I came aboard, so I got to watch her in this film. And I knew I needed to surround her with warriors. And when I read it, there were two people immediately that came to mind that I wanted in this film. I wanted Lashana Lynch as Azogi.
Yes, she plays that too. Yes.
I had seen the speech that she had given at Essence Black Women in Hollywood, and the things that she was saying about the type of work she wanted to do, what she felt about her profession, what she wanted to give to the world through her art. I just felt like I wanted to work with her. And then John Boyega, I knew I wanted as
Yes.
And that was, again, I saw a speech that he gave that went viral. He was at a protest and he was just pushing for Black men to protect Black women. And I remember seeing it and saying, again, I want to work with that guy. And it's so interesting because he thought that speech was going to kill his career. But I wanted that energy. And then I needed to find a Nawi, a young actor who could go toe-to-toe with Viola Davis. And Thuso was somebody that was an audition. Underground hadn't come out yet, so I knew nothing about her work. And it was during COVID, so it was all over Zoom. And her face popped up on my Zoom screen and immediately cared about her. She has that innate vulnerability that makes you care. And then she auditioned, and in her reading, she was just doing things that no other actor had done. And I just believed her. And there was such an excitement in that, but I couldn't show her that because there were other people who had to see what I saw. So I famously said, good luck. Good luck in your career. And she... I meant it. But the next thing she had to do is, I wanted her to meet with Viola, and so they had a one-on-one conversation. It was really beautiful to just see them talk, and you could see, of course, Thuso soaking in every jewel that Viola was dropping, but also the beauty of it was as soon as it finished, you know, Viola said, I don't even know her, but I feel maternal towards her. And then lastly, because I knew I wanted the actors to be doing their own fighting and stunts, I had to do an assessment with Thuso. And again, props to Thuso. She did not lie when I asked, do you have any athletic ability? Any sports? And she was honest and said no. So, and so I took her to a gym to meet with Danny Hernandez, our incredible fight and stunt coordinator, and it was supposed to be an hour assessment, but it ended up being 2 hours because Thuso just kept wanting to learn more things, kept wanting to perfect it, and we saw that desire to be great, that work ethic. That was the thing that we needed to see, and at that point, you know, we knew that Thuso was one. And then lastly, I'll say Sheila Tim replaced Menza. I saw an early cut of Bruised, Halle Berry's directorial debut, and I remember at the end of it, all I was like was, who is that? She was just so special, and she auditioned, she was brilliant, but Sony was looking for thank you, yes, they're looking for someone well-known for that role. So Hallie, which she didn't have to do, allowed us to show some scenes to Sony. And once they saw that, that was it. So that was really beautiful that she helped us out with that. So for me, in putting together this ensemble, it was important, given this story. I really did want to pull Black women from all over our diaspora to come together on the continent and tell the story together, to just bring us together in that way. I needed women who had incredible craft, which all of them had, but also that work ethic, knowing that they were going to have to train so deeply. I wanted them to be passionate about telling the story, and they had to be good people. That was the criteria, and I mean, all of them embody all of that.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
Thuso, and I'm gonna kick this little can around because I need to know. Okay. I know what it's like to train, physically for a film, and you guys were warrior training and then dancing and then doing rehearsals of the scenes. I have to tell you, like Viola and like Gina, the minute I saw you, I felt something. I'm like, I want to protect her. I need her to, I had to root for you. So talk us through the process of what did a day in the life of rehearsal look like? What did it entail? How long were those days? What was that process like? Because all of these inquiring minds want to know.
Okay. It was a lot. While we were still in LA, I think like a typical day would be on a Monday. I had to be here in Beverly Hills for an hour of like running, sprinting training with Viola Davis.
Okay, you lost me there. Running? Y'all were running?
No, because there's two tells in an action film. You have to be able to run, you have to be able to punch. And so I needed them to run well.
Okay. See, this is all intel. This is okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. You had running training.
Yeah, running training for an hour. It was always hard for me because why am I running? Like in high school, when we had the option to run, I chose to run away from running. And then from there, I drive to Van Nuys, Encino? Van Nuys, yeah, for 3.5 hours of stunts with Yanni Hernandez and the team. So we do a range of different things like choreo, combat training, fighting, punching, weapons, always with Viola. Because at the beginning, we didn't know what our characters' weapons of choice were, so we would work with the machete, the staff, that different things until it was established that okay, Nanuska is with the machete, and now he's gonna get the machete, and then only did I focus on the machete. But then my character is very DIY. She's not just stuck on one thing. Like the rope dart. There was a point where I had to learn the rope dart. And I learned the rope. We were filming in South Africa when I was told that okay, now this is what she's gonna do. So it's like, oh, okay. And then we would have Gabriella McLean, who was just specifically for physical strength training. But with Gabby, when we started with her, she did a DNA test on each of us to determine what would be the best training regimen for the individual. Because our bodies.
Do we have a number? I need that now. I need it in my life right now. Wow.
Yeah, because obviously we're all built differently, and our training had to complement that. We weren't trying to change our bodies to be something that they're not, but enhance that which came naturally to us. And so obviously with Nawi, she isn't as big as the other people, as the other warriors. Apparently I'm small. I don't know. I don't know what that was about, but apparently I wouldn't be convincing and like taking down like a 6-foot man. Apparently. So we had to rely on speed, agility, flexibility, and so that's what we were working towards with Gabby. and Danny. Viola's would have been different. She can speak on hers because she had to bulk out.
Yeah, exactly, Viola. And this is one of the things that I wanted to touch on, and I want to bring it back to your training, because you transform. It's so transformative. A lot of the roles that you're taking on, you're doing complete transformation, and this was a complete transformation. Yeah. So now we know y'all were running in jiu-jitsu.
No, wait. Running at 10.0, Octavia.
Oh, you lost me.
So you're sprinting.
Oh, no.
Wait. You're sprinting at 56, Octavia. Okay, because you know after 50, you're sprinting, you're going above your heart rate, then you could lose oxygen and die.
I did, Viola.
So I'd be on that treadmill going, I'm gonna die! Seriously, but the hour and a half, Gabby kept, adding more and more and more weights for me to bulk up. And then she gave me a picture of a weightlifting woman. She's like, I want your body to look like this. And I said, well, let me tell you something, Gabby. That shit ain't gonna happen. Okay? Whatever we get by the time we get to South Africa is what you gonna get. But, and then the 3.5 hours of martial arts, which, you're doing the elbow, and the punching. I loved the punching. But when I had to do the choreo, me and Thuso, oh my God. Because we had to do it side by side and take down, what would you say, 12, 13, 14 men? And I would be slipping on the mats in my own sweat. And I have to say, after a certain point, after you say, I can't do this, Gina doesn't know what she's doing. Gina's crazy. Gina's crazy. Sony is crazy. When you go down the list of all the crazy people, they're not crazy, right? I just didn't want to do it, But after a while, I was in shock at what my body could do at 56. Listen, even if I were 30, I was shocked that I could do it. And then we did that for 3 months, and then we shot the movie for 5 months and continued the training. So the first scene you see, the village raid scene, we shot at 2 o'clock in the morning. And before every scene, we had to do pump-ups, where Gabby put all the weights and the stretch bands, and then all of the extras, and so you have to lift the weights, do the stretches, all of that, and then practice all the choreo that you were going to do in the scene at 2 o'clock in the morning in the heat. Did I mention I was in menopause, y'all? But anyway, but you do it and you just think, it's not going to happen, I'm going to trip over a branch, we're in the jungle, something's going to eat me, but it doesn't. Your body serves you. Your body services you in taking down huge men that everyone has told you you cannot do that. Your body's, you can't do that. And why would you want to look like a dude? And blah, 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 blah. But it's all of those things that liberated me as an actor, but more especially as a woman.
Yes. I love that you say that. Because one of the things that struck me about this film, we've seen war. We've seen men in battle. We've seen black men, we've seen white men, we've seen, but we've never seen women before Wonder Woman. No, before Wonder Woman, we hadn't seen women. And then we had the women of Wakanda. And now we have you guys. And when I'm sitting there and watching, I just felt this immense sense of pride. And what I want to talk about now, we'll bandy this little question back down the aisle here. Gina, and I said this to you out there, so this won't come as a shock to you in here. One of the hallmarks of your directing style is that you take these complex lead women, and you flesh them out in a way that they get to be all of those things that we don't think women should display, strength, physical strength, but they also get to have vulnerability. And it's every single character, even though it's a huge ensemble piece, everyone had their standout moment. How did you balance that to make sure that the emotional, quiet scenes didn't overpower the big, intense battle scenes? And then I want each of you, to Viola and Thuso, to talk about what that was like for your preparation, knowing that you were going to have to show your physical strength and endurance and all of that in the battle, but also bring it back to what we largely do as actors, which is emote. Can you talk about how you balance that?
Yeah, it's the knowledge that they have to work in complete tandem. You're not going to care about the big action and set pieces if you don't care about the characters. Yeah. And the best action is story and character driven. And so that's where we always started. It also starts with me as a director, I love every single one of these characters and work really hard to make them real. And to put together an ensemble like we have, these are actors that inspired me. It's like my job as director is to inspire, but they made me want to write more for them, give them more complicated stunts, give them more depth, and scenes that they could just showcase. And it's just a beautiful environment to have this group of actors who you just saw were forming this incredible sisterhood, me staying open to watching the natural relationships that were forming, because in the training I would put like Viola and Thuso together, let them build a type of relationship. I would see Sheila and Lashana and notice that they had a real friendship prior to coming on. That wasn't built in the script, but in staying open and seeing that and seeing how fun they were together, I wanted to start to incorporate that. Seeing Masali, who plays Fumbi, I had Masali and Thuso live in the same complex, so that they could build a relationship, and then of course all of them training together and building that sisterhood. It's something I knew that would show up on screen because it was going to be real and organic, and that's what you need. Of course, actors act, and you can say I can act that, but there are those little intangible things, when the love, when the respect, when all of that is real, and that's what I wanted to build throughout the whole rehearsal process.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. Beautiful. So can you speak to, because and you guys know when you're in the rehearsal process, how you gel with your fellow actors, and that comes across in the scene work because you believe the relationships. Can you talk about what that rehearsal process, what all of that, spending time behind the scenes, how that bled into your actual scene work, and how it informed your scene work?
Yeah, so I think the foundation of our relationship was built during the stunt training, because we had that before we even started rehearsing. And we always joke about the fact that, what's it called? We did a lot of trauma bonding because it was so hard. But it was needed, it was necessary, because even in doing stunts, I think for me, it helped me understand what was at stake for my character. Because there were days where I was just like, what am I doing? This is so hard. How do I get out of this and still save face in Hollywood? But then there was a moment where I fully realized that whatever it is that I am going through as Thuso is actually nothing compared to what a real life Agogio trainee would have had to go through, and so I had to build that. And in as much as I was going through that, every single other person, every single castmate was also going through the same process and finding that. And so that helped us understand and respect each other. But then also I think in rehearsals, in building our relationships now, sitting with the script, what was really important for us is maintaining or highlighting the humanity of our characters. because yes, we're doing an action film, but in the research that we did, the black woman or the black body was described as savage, uncivilized, and molestic. And that could have easily been that if you just see the characters going for absolutely no reason, right? And so it was always about showcasing humans that are existing in a particular point in time. They have dreams, they have desires, they have passions, they have people that they care about. They're fighting for their kingdom, and so our conversations were always rooted in that. And so even in crafting Nawi, from deciding what her hair is to the costume, in conversations with the HODs, and even with the weapon, that she has, her relationship with Naniska, it was all those conversations, but ultimately saying, we're telling the story of human beings who lived. We're not just kind of making it up for the sake of entertainment.
Viola, this last question comes to you.
Yes.
And it wasn't going to be the last question, but we're running out of time, so I want you to speak to this as a producer, as an actress. What do you hope, because this is a room of SAG actors, what do you hope when they leave here that they take away from this film with regard to the performances and the story itself? What do you hope that they walk away with in their hearts from seeing The Woman King?
If I were to be honest, I'm never really great at this question. I feel like you can't control how a movie hits people. You're coming in with your own experiences. It's really specific. Who knows what's going to move you? Which character, what element in the movie? But if I were to be so bold, first of all, as actors, your job is to always create a human being. I don't care if you're doing a movie that is poorly written, which, by the way, those should be the actors getting awards. Because if you're making bad shit work, you're pulling out all of the tools. But people have to know that black artists exist. We do. It's too easy to ignore. Every year we have, if it's a great year, we may have 2 or 3 films that are in the conversation that have actors of color in it, and people are like, aren't we doing great? And a lot of times, as a producer, you're in those rooms, you're pushing these films that are complicated, that are different, that don't necessarily say black, 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 but say human, 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 and you're convincing people, you're wheeling, you're dealing, you're hustling. I want people to know that we are complicated people too. Complicated history, complicated humanity, complicated emotional life. And I feel that if you receive that, I think that's everything. Listen, when I started out, there's so many things that I never was as a black actress. Like, Viola, you're not attractive. Or Viola, I have a great role for you. You're playing the best friend of so-and-so, which would be a major white character. And it would be a shitty role for both of us, but mine would be the shittiest. And so I would just be partnering with her with a really shitty role, with her shitty role. And then I had to celebrate it. Here's the thing at the end of the day. What is it that we live for as artists? Okay, we live for our art. We live for exploring it. We live for creating complicated characters, complicated storylines that are messy. I don't care even if it's controversial. That's what we want. We want what our white counterparts want. We want the same things. We want the same possibilities. We want the same complicated stories. And I feel that when you watch this, I think that's what you're getting. I think that's what you're feeling. I've never seen this before. Bah, 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 bah. We want to keep going. And that's what, and here's the other thing I want people to get, that black women can lead a global box office.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's all the time we have. Can we please